Ujikale maweni diyanapa. Ujikale maweni diyanapa. Ujikale maweni diyanapa. That was the retreat song from South Africa. Thankfully, or unfortunately, the only African country with LGBTQ rights. But I come from Ghana. Why are you afraid? I come from Africa. Why are you ashamed? I come from the so-called third world. Why are you discreet? Or just too comfortable? Or maybe just racist? Why? I come from a crumbling world, regressing into catastrophe and lack of empathy for human life. A country that has now passed a bill for criminalizing how a person simply identifies. No, you don't have to have sex with the same sex to get jailed. You simply have to have your natural feelings or look naturally different. So why are you afraid to live freely and boldly in a country that has laws to protect and acknowledge your human life? Not that laws are even needed for these, but at this time in history, knowing scientifically more now than we did yesterday, we should have progressed towards acknowledging now that life is a fundamental human right, and so is the freedom to live it, as long as our life choices harms no one. We don't need laws to spell out our fundamentals. It should be collectively inherent through empathy. But since the capitalist world is lacking in conscience and duty to humanity, we have laws. We settle for laws. So, you have laws to preserve your queer life, I don't. I come from Ghana. I come from Africa. I come from a so-called third world. So, tell me, why are you discreet? Why the blank profiles on your grinder? Why are you an inconvenience to a wife you will never truly be attracted to or love? You don't have to be as radical as me, but you do need to take a leap with fear, because fear will always be with you when you stand up to things you can't control. So radical or not, you need courage. Not entitlement, not supremacy. It takes heart. It takes empathy to say, I believe, I desire, I pursue, I matter, I am. So go and be. Go and be truly you. Your ancestors did not fight for your queer rights so you can be comfortable or afraid in this time, whichever suits. They reconciled the mistake their ancestors made in a time of ignorance. It's your turn to rectify theirs. They armed you with privilege when dignity and truth was stolen from Africa and other homophobic places through colonialism. It is your time to embrace the science and truth we have in this era, to embrace the freedom to life your laws protect, to use this privilege to hold human rights in high esteem, to call out oppression and abuse wherever you see it, especially the oppression inside of you. The one that makes you fear your queerness, even when it's your legal right. The one that makes you fear HIV, even when we have PrEP and antiretroviral therapy that can make a person undetectable and hence untransmittable. The oppression inside you inherited from the patriarchal heterosexuality that ultimately conditions all of us to hate femininity. See the oppression. inside of you. Call it out. Then find community instead of a closet. And through that community, stand with the oppressed minorities and the marginalized everywhere. You can do this. You are not normal. Normal is heterosexuality. It is the patriarchy. It is where abuse and ignorance and fear thrives. To be LGBTQ plus is to be natural, not normal. It is to lift a trembling fist fearlessly in the face of ignorance and injustice. Most importantly now, do not let the West, the USA, Israel, NATO, EU, your whiteness, weaponize our sexuality to excuse the genocide in Palestine. Do not let your whiteness blind you from the oppression of marginalized groups elsewhere. Your ability should not undermine those who are differently abled. To end, Black Lives Matter. Black lives are the ones more prone to danger, given how whitewashed the world is through white supremacy, funded by the looting of Africa. So when we say Black Lives Matter, with intersectionality and focus on black women, children, the differently abled, queer and effeminate men, and men in general, you say yes. Not all lives matter. Because even the least of you is well protected than the best of us, everywhere in this world, including Africa. You say yes, and stand in solidarity against oppression. Your fear or shame about your queerness, even in this land of freedom, is a little token to understanding what it means to be oppressed. And if you think you are white and so you are not oppressed, maybe you should ask why. Why are you hiding behind ignorance? Why are you hiding your queerness in this freedom? Why are you afraid to speak up against injustice, oppression, and genocide when even you have a history with being colonized? Why?